going on, guys? NealGuides here. Welcome back to another weekly tactics update video. In today's video, we're going to go over the custom tactics for the 4-2-3-1, 3-5-2, 5-2-1-2, 4-4-2, and a 5-3-2 if you do want to use that as well. Just in case you're new here, the best thing, or if you want to get the highest rank in weekend league, the best thing is to have a progressive system. So you have a defensive formation, one formation to close the game out. Let's say you're 1-0 ahead, you're 2-0 ahead, your opponent's getting a bit feisty, becoming more aggressive, you'll change to more defensive variation. Then you have two main formations that you use. It can be one formation, so you can have like an attacking 3-5-2 and a defensive 3-5-2. In this situation, we've gone for a defensive or a somewhat defensive but more attacking 3-5-2, one that we start the game with. And then we have a 5-2-1-2, which is basically a more attacking variation of the 3-5-2, which I'll explain in a second. And then of course we have the 4-4-2 second variation, which is a kind of an all-out attack formation. Let's say we're losing and we need to start pressing my opponent, we're going to start changing to the 4-4-2 second variation. So it's kind of like a progressive system where depending if you're losing, you go up. If you're winning, you basically go down. And that way you have good stability, you can change and react to the game on the fly. We're going to go over the 4-2-3-1 tactics first. This is a formation that can be used for all aspects of the game. It can be used to even start the game to kind of throw your opponent out, because don't forget, in a 4-2-3-1, these players are not stay back while attacking, they come back on defense. So you still go forward in a 4-striker formation, they just all come back when you defend. That's the key with the 4-2-3-1. For the tactics, we have balanced 4-3, because we don't want to be too wide, we want to be a bit more narrow when we're defending, and the depth we put at 3, because that seems to be the best limit to not get through balls in behind, but also be somewhat high up the pitch where you're not almost parking the bus. So I think it's a defensive formation, but not necessarily parking the bus. Offense start, we're going balanced. If you do use long ball, feel free to change the long ball. I use balance because I've triggered my players manually, and that is why I do that. And plus, this is purely my defensive formation. I don't really use it for any other phases of play. The width of the players in the box, I put them on 4. You can adjust it if you want to, but I recommend 4 on the width, just because in a 4-2-3-1, these cams go a bit too wide. You can always make them wider with hug the sidelines, so we made them a bit more narrow with a 4. Strikers stay central, come back on offense. 3 cams all come back on the defense edge of the box. This is important because if you're wasting time and your opponent's pressing you, you want to basically cut him off, whereas 4 strikers on stay forward and his CDMs are here. You want to force him to commit a player going forward. So when you get into that cross situation, you want those players outside the box. Both CDMs cut past lanes, stay back while taking conservative interceptions. I left Nedved in CDM. I know how to defend with someone like Nedved in CDM. I leave them there just because I got no one else really put him there. And of course, we have Wan-Bissaka and we have the left back and right, both on stay back, conservative, and overlap. Now we go over to the 3-5-2. Now this is a thing that I use. I use the balanced 4-5, long ball 6-3. That is my defensive. Well, it's an attacking 3-5-2, but that is my tactics and instructions for my 3-5-2. Don't forget, I got a video on each of these tactics individually. So if you want to see what each of these tactics do, feel free to watch one of those videos individually. Link is on my channel. And don't forget, I do stream on twitch.tv/NealGuides. Link is down below in the bio. Going over to the 3-5-2, the instructions. Now, you might see on my videos, I normally advise this. So you have come back on defense. That way it makes a midfield 3. So you got 1, 2, 3 centre mids. I'm very comfortable with attacking, so I leave them on stay forward. I can defend with just 2 centre mids with a backline of 5. So that's completely fine. So when you're defending, if you want to use come back on defense, you can. I have stay central, get it behind, stay forward. The second striker, stay forward, stay central. No get it behind this one because I want the ball to go to his feet where I can dribble. I got my cam on stay forward. Feel free to turn this to come back on defense as well if you do struggle with defending. Left mid and right mid, both of them on come back on defense, get into the box, conservative, and get it behind. It's for both wingers. And don't forget, when you're defending in this formation, these two, they come back and you make your back 5 at the back. And then one of your strikers, you have them on come back in defense, makes the midfield 3, and you end up defending in a 5-3-1-1. So that's the way the formation does defend. So of course, do bear that in mind. But we have come back on defense, both the left mid and right mid. You need fast players here that those can go up and down the pitch. And then we have 2 CDMs. Both of them are cut passing lanes, stay back while attacking, and cover center. Now compared to the 5-2-1-2, you don't have CDMs. So stability is a big issue with the 5-2-1-2. So that is why the 3-5-2, I prefer it just because you're a bit more stable. And plus I prefer the left mids and right mids because they're a bit more centralized. In the 5-2-1-2, they're playing as left backs and right backs. Not only are they more conservative, it takes some time for them to go forward all the time, but I don't like using wing players. You know, the left mid and right mids are more centralized. We have the ball outside the box. I can pass the ball to De La Feu or whatever. But if you're using fullbacks, they're almost in the corner. They're unmarked, but because I don't cross the ball, I don't seem it that viable to use, of course, the wingers. And then we have, that's our anti-kickoff formation. We'll go over this in a second. If we go back to the 3-5-2 and then we go to instructions, and for the centre backs, they're all unbalanced. I recommend having fullbacks in centre back as opposed to actual centre backs, because counter attacks are a big thing. Going over to the 5-2-1-2, we go with 4, 6, fast build up play, 6 and 4. I use long ball because the 3-5-2 is more of like a progressively slow system. It's not slow, but it's slower than the 5-2-1-2. So it's still a fast system, but it's more systematic, more progressive. The 5-2-1-2 is kind of, you get the ball, the fullbacks, they fly forward, everyone's going forward, everyone's in a rush. It's kind of like you're 1-0 down, you're 2-0 down. You don't want to go ultra attacking, but it's 60 minutes, you need to get back into a game. This is what I would change to. Instructions: stay central, stay forward, get it behind for one striker. Again, like the other one, stay central, stay forward, balanced. Because don't forget, you want to have balanced again. So these guys, number one, they stay centrally, but number two, you want one guy to kind of have the ball next to his feet as well. The cam on, stay forward as well. Feel free to put this on comeback and offense if you do struggle with defending. We do have get inside the box for a cross. That way, when you go into a wing position down a wing and you cross the ball in, it's going to be running inside the box. The left centre mid and the right centre mid are both of them on stay back while attacking, cover centre and stay edge of the box. This is important because if these guys are flying forward, let's say when you're attacking, you have the left back and right back here, you have your two strikers here, and you have your cam here. If the box is over here, no one is outside. So you want Renato Sanchez and Cuadrado to be outside the box, or your two CDMs. That's why I have still on the edge of the box for a cross. That way, if you do go to a wing position, we can't cross the ball in. You know I don't cross, but let's say I was to cross, and let's say there's no crossing opportunity there. You can always distribute the ball back to your CDMs, and of course, you avoid a CDM being out of position. If you want to, you can make one of these balanced, but I'd say only do that if you really know what you're doing, because doing that is pretty much causing all sorts of problems for you if you don't know how to defend, because obviously counter-attacks are going to be a big thing. The left wing back and the right wing back are join the attack, conservative and overlap. This means they will go forward on their own. If you want, you can put them on stay back while attacking and activate these with the D-pad tactics. You can use hug the sidelines. I use hug the sidelines for both of these formations, for the 3-5-2 and the 5-2-1-2. So you can use hug the sidelines to make the left back and right back, the left mid and right mid really wide. Again, as I mentioned before, I prefer the 3-5-2 because it's kind of like a 4-1-2-1-2 in the middle, and you have the left mid and right mids kind of as supports, and also you can use them as wingers. Whereas the 5-2-1-2 is kind of like that system. It's very similar. It's kind of like a 4-1-2-1-2 again. The only issue is when these guys go forward, they're basically unmarked completely near the corner flag. Now, while that's completely fine, I prefer, for example, the left mid and right mid to be a bit more reserved and be about here, so at least I can distribute the ball or try to work the ball inside the box. So again, it's personal preference what formation you want to play. I normally start with this one because it's got two CDMs, and let's say, for example, I'm 1-0 ahead, I stay on this formation the entire game. If you're, for example, you know you're not that good at the game, let's say maybe you know you're not an elite player or not a gold 1 player, you know you struggle with defending, as soon as you go 1-0 ahead, you can go to the 4-2-1 if you want to, but I normally stay around here. If, for example, I'm 1-0 down, I'll still stay on this formation. If I go 2-1 ahead, I'll go back to this formation, but let's say I'm 1-0 down, I wouldn't go to the 5-2-1-2 yet. I would go to the 5-2-1-2 if and only if I can't get through the 3-5-2, like I'm really struggling, and then I need to use the left back and right backs to break over the wing play to basically exploit my opponent's defense to make them unmarked. Then I change that formation. If I then go back to 2-2, I'll go back to the 3-5-2. So I'll mainly veer around this formation, and depending whether I'm losing or winning, I will change. So I'll go losing, I'll obviously go up. And if I'm winning, I'll obviously go down to the 4-2-3-1. And then I have the 4-4-2 second variation. This is kind of the emergency formation. If my opponent is, for example, holding the ball, let's say I'm 2-0 down, like 70 minutes plus, this is my pressing formation. Obviously, when you activate team press all the time, you have to do it manually. If you just have constant pressure on your tactic, you kind of negate that thing, and you don't have to really activate team press all the time. Constant pressure, 7 width, 5 depth, long ball 5 and 7. It's not all out attacking. It's not like, it's kind of gung ho, but not to the extent where like it's do or die. Because let's say, for example, if let's say you're 2-0 down in 70 minutes or 1-0 down, the last thing you want to do is make it 2-0 or 3-0. So it's important to be attacking, but not so attacking where you're leaving yourself in behind. This is more of a pressing formation. Stay forward, stay central. One of the strikers on comeback and offense. You can put the person with the most stamina on comeback and offense, but I prefer Neymar to be a bit more coming back, because when he gets the ball, he's a bit more agile and he can kind of dribble, out maneuver my opponent, if that makes sense. The left mid and right mid of them come back on offense. The biggest misconception is putting these guys on stay forward. No, because your opponent's got like a 4-2-3-1. If you're holding the ball outside of it here, you're just going to have 4 strikers basically ahead of him. So having the left mid and right mid come back in offense, at least they still come back and it can help you defend. And the best way to press if your opponent has the ball and then you have 4 players behind the ball. You don't want your opponent to have the ball over here and have everyone else in front of the ball, because you have to start bringing players back. Then you'll leave holes in your defense. So come back on defense, just everything else on default. The more defensive CDM, cut past the lane, stay back while attacking, cover center. In this situation, I use Renato Sanchez as that defensive CDM, although Cuadrado is the more defensive player, should I say, but because he's got 5-star skill moves, he's got really good agility and balance. I do like him to go forward, so I leave him on a balanced. Feel free to use get forward if you want to as well. And then for the left back and right back, I have both of them on stay back while attacking, and I have Nedved here at the right back. Maybe you're wondering, why do I not have Nedved in CDM? It's because I prefer someone who's really fast as a CDM going forward. Someone's got 5-star skill moves and a good agility and balance. So that's why I really like Cuadrado there, because his job is not to shoot, his job is to distribute the ball. But that is the tactics and formation layout. And of course, I do play, as you can see, I do play the 4-3-3, but again, this is just for chemistry purposes. Obviously in game I changed the formation, so I have this is my anti-kickoff formation. So of course I have the 4 tactics and I have balanced. I have balanced 1-1-1-1-1. This is not me parking a bus. This is if my opponent kicks off first. Obviously when I change to, for example, a 3-5-2, there's a lag. It's like a transition period. You have to wait for the ball to go out of play or for a prolonged period of time. During that time, I don't want to get the kickoff glitch against me, so I've set up an anti-kickoff glitch formation, and I put everyone on comeback and defense, and I put one of the CDMs on drop between defenders. So this way, if I start the game and I'm not kicking off first, it's kind of an anti-kickoff formation. That way my opponent can't get that cheesy kickoff goal in the first couple of minutes. But that is my tactics setup for this weekend league, and I'll have a new one up on the week. I'm probably going to change this to the blitz tactic that will be released on Friday. But that is the tactics for this weekend league, and if I do play next weekend league, that'll be a tactics for that one as well. If you are looking towards getting league, this is a good system. And don't forget, you can replace these. If you do use the 5-3-2 and a 5-2-1-2, you can replace that here. If you use the 4-1-2-1-2 second variation, you can have a defensive and an attacking variation here. The idea is you have 2 formations, one for being defensive but being attacking, one for being a bit more attacking, a bit more going forward, maybe like a centre mid and join the attack, maybe a cam one stay forward, and that way you veer between these 2 formations, because at any moment of the game can either go on your favour or against you. You know, with just a quick flash, it could be 2-1 down. With a quick flash, it could be 2-1 ahead. The key thing is reacting, because don't forget, if your opponent is losing 2-0, do you think he's going to be parking the bus on stay back while attacking? No. So you need to have a defensive formation. That way, when he has all his fullbacks on overlap, you don't have, for example, your 5-2-1-2 with everyone on stay forward, if that does make sense. Well, guys, thanks for watching. Take it easy, and I'll catch you next time. Peace out.